The fake rich kid. Let's start with the one nobody admits to being, mostly because admitting it kind of defeats the entire purpose. The fake rich kid isn't actually wealthy, they're renting the appearance of wealth. One designer item at a time, like a tiny luxury subscription running on a part-time paycheck. A single real handbag carried into every photo. One pair of expensive sneakers worn with absolutely everything. Rain, snow, job interviews. A luxury hotel lobby picture taken without ever booking an actual room upstairs. It's less dishonesty and more aspiration with a marketing budget of zero. And almost everyone has met one of these without realizing it, possibly because the entire skill set involved is convincing you not to look too closely. Chapter 2. The Pressure Cooker Kid. This one flips the whole rich kids have it easy idea on its head, and honestly deserves a little sympathy. The pressure cooker kid grows up wealthy, sure, but every grade, every sport, every life decision arrives preloaded with expectation. Take over the family business, get into the right school, marry the right person, who, conveniently, also comes from money. Their life ships with a manual attached, and going off script can feel less like a personal choice and more like a betrayal of 3 generations at once. From the outside, this looks like the easiest life imaginable. Private tutors, every opportunity handed over, zero financial stress. From the inside, it can feel like the least free life on this list, since failure here is never allowed to just be failure. Chapter 3. The Nepo Baby. Nepo Baby combines nepotism and baby, which might be the most accurate 2-word summary the internet has ever produced. It describes a kid who benefits directly from a parent's fame, connections, or industry access, usually in the form of an audition nobody else got invited to. This shows up most in Hollywood, music, and fashion, where the children of famous actors, directors, or musicians land roles or record deals that outsiders spend a decade chasing without luck. Nepo babies will insist their own talent got them there, while the rest of the internet is already pulling up the family tree to show exactly which phone call got made. Tracking a celebrity kid's first big break back to one favor has basically become its own internet sport at this point. And to be fair, some Nepo babies genuinely are talented, which only makes it more annoying for everyone else, since now you cannot even be mad about it. Chapter 4. The Trust Fund Kid. A trust fund kid receives steady income from a financial trust their family set up, often without ever needing a traditional job, or honestly, any job at all. These trusts usually release money at certain ages, or for specific things like education or housing, though some seem to release money mainly for vacations. Some trust fund kids use the safety net to take big risks and start companies without financial pressure hanging over them. Others are seen as living without much responsibility, mainly because they do not have any. The stereotype includes expensive hobbies, constant travel, and a lifestyle that never seems to slow down, regardless of whether a job exists anywhere in the picture. Online, this has become its own meme format, where trust fund kids jokingly explain their finances to people who simply were not born into the same starting position, which is one way to describe winning a lottery you did not know you entered. Chapter 5. The New Money Kid. New money kids come from families whose wealth was earned recently, often within their own parents' lifetime through business, technology, sports, or entertainment. Unlike what's coming up next on this list, new money is thrilled to be seen and will make absolutely sure that you see it too. This stereotype is associated with brand new mansions, fast cars, and designer clothing with logos large enough to read from space. New money families often did not grow up wealthy, so they tend to celebrate success loudly rather than pretend it does not exist. Critics call this flashy or try hard, while defenders point out that hiding hard-earned success just to satisfy some old unwritten rulebook makes very little sense. New money kids care less about old etiquette, mostly because nobody handed them a rulebook in the first place, so they wrote their own, and it is considerably louder. Chapter 6. The Old Money Kid, which brings us to the polar opposite. Some rich kids want you to know exactly how rich they are. Old money kids would rather die. Their wealth was built generations ago through real estate, family businesses, or investments that have been quietly growing since before your grandparents were born, and the family motto, unofficially, is never talk about it. No loud logos, no flashy cars, nothing that looks like showing off, because to an old money kid, looking rich is basically a personality flaw. Instead, they wear plain, well-made clothing that somehow still costs more than your car payment, attend private schools with more history than most countries, and learn proper etiquette before they learn long division. Their homes are old estates passed down for generations, never newly built, because building a new one would mean admitting the money is new too. These days, this whole stereotype has a trendier name, stealth wealth, where the entire goal is to look like you shop at the same store as everyone else, even though you absolutely, positively do not. Chapter 7. The Influencer Heir. The Influencer Heir is a newer category built entirely by social media rather than tradition. These are children of already famous or wealthy parents who build their own following simply by showing the lifestyle most people will never see firsthand. Unlike Nepo babies in film or music, influencer heirs often need no specific talent at all, since the content is mainly private jets, shopping trips, and behind-the-scenes glimpses of family wealth, which somehow counts as a full-time job now. This stereotype grew rapidly through reality television families and keeps expanding as platforms reward consistent, personal content over almost anything else. Critics argue this turns wealth into entertainment, while millions of viewers argue that watching someone unbox a new car is, regrettably, more entertaining than it has any right to be. Chapter 8. The Self-Made Heir. The self-made heir is often the most respected version of a rich kid, since they're born into wealth but still choose to build something rather than simply living off the family name. This includes children of wealthy families who start their own business, take demanding jobs, or work their way up inside the family company instead of being handed the corner office on day one. Some self-made heirs avoid using their family name early on, just to prove they can succeed without it, which is a noble goal, right up until the family name ends up on the building anyway. Others openly use family resources as a head start, but still put in the real work to grow something further. This stereotype sits in an interesting middle ground, since outsiders rarely call these kids fully self-made, but they're still given far more credit than the trust fund kid who, let's be honest, has never opened a spreadsheet in their life. Chapter 9. The Boarding School Kid. Boarding school. Kids are sent away from home, sometimes as young as 11 or 12, to live full-time at an academy that has been around since before electricity. These schools often produce tight alumni networks that last well into adulthood, mainly because everyone already survived the same questionable cafeteria food together. The stereotype includes strict house systems, formal dress codes, and a level of independence most kids don't experience until college, which mostly means learning to do laundry years earlier than anyone else their age. Boarding school kids are seen as more self-reliant, but also slightly detached from their own family, since holidays and short breaks are often the only time anyone sees them at home, assuming they remember the way back. Chapter 10. The Family Business Kid. And finally, the Family Business Kid, who grows up watching their parents run a company, whether it's a small chain of restaurants or a sprawling corporation, and is usually expected to join eventually, whether they want to or not. Unlike the trust fund kid who simply receives money, the family business kid is often put to work early, starting in entry-level roles to learn the business from the ground up, usually right around the same time their friends are still figuring out their college major. This carries a built-in tension, since some are seen as hardworking and prepared, while others are accused of skipping straight to management with a job title their experience has not quite caught up to yet. Family dinners often double as unofficial board meetings, and somehow nobody ever quite finishes dessert before someone brings up quarterly numbers. Please subscribe.